Hi, it's me again. It looks like it's going to whack it down as well in a minute, doesn't it? So I'll probably try and do this one a bit quick, eh? And yeah, sorry, same place again. I seem to be walking around Promenade Park in Maldon at the minute. It's just easy for me with parking, so I can park up the road and I can get me lunch and all of that. I'm hoping to take you to some more exciting places either this weekend or next weekend. I'll talk about that towards the end because I can't believe how much things are costing at the minute. Some good responses from the video the other day about defund the BBC and what are they doing with the money. Many people have contacted them. If you haven't seen the video, go back and watch it. It's yeah, interesting. And no one's had a response yet, the people that have tweeted them or emailed them. And if you've if you've donated money to defund the BBC, contact them and ask them what they did with your money, because they won't tell me, and it's your money, so you should know, right? So as always, a couple of stories to go through, a couple of your comments, and I'll try and keep it quick so I don't get rained on. Oh, here's that Fiesta again with the comedy aerial. And I think the commenters are right, it's a CB in it. You don't see a lot of CB aerials anymore. Yeah, right, what was the first story? BBC urged to resolve dispute over scrapping free TV licences for the over 75s. It's not going away, is it? And this whole thing isn't going away for two reasons. One of them is the Express, who love to run a story about the over 75s TV licences. And the other one is Dennis Reed, who's the campaign director or just the director for Silver Voices, which is an organisation that does a lot for you older people out there. And yeah, I've talked to him a couple of times. We were going to do something on the channel together, but he wanted to talk about pensions and stuff. I don't really know a lot about it, so I might actually do that one day. It's not something I've done before, but it's something I'm interested in doing. If anyone out there wants to appear on the channel, let me know. But yeah, he's you think I've got a problem with the TV licence. He really talks about it a lot, and it's not getting any change, is he? What's he say here, look? Mr. Reid said the BBC policy on the over 75s is intransigent and leading the BBC into a cul-de-sac from which they will be unable to reverse. Their hardline no negotiation policy will weaken their hand in future discussions on the future funding of the BBC. Will it though? Because the only discussions I'm seeing on the future funding of the BBC at the minute is either keeping the licence fee or it turning into a thing that goes on your income tax or some kind of media levy they want to call it. I'm not seeing any discussions about future funding of the BBC being done by going commercial. I don't think they're ready to be a subscription service. I think they need to go commercial. Other channels manage it. As we've said before, ITV now turns over 3.7 billion quid a year, which is the same as the BBC get from TV licence fees. There is no excuse for it. But just to, you know, they don't necessarily need to get rid of the licence. The way it works at the minute is that you don't watch a recording that's been broadcast, use iPlayer, you don't need to pay it. We all know that by now, right? If they make it more understandable for people to do that, I'd settle for that. They make it easier for people to opt out without getting scary letters and the threats. I'd settle for that. I would settle for that. And the over 75s, I've never understood it. I know it was a government promise, and then the government handed it over to the BBC to deal with, and then the BBC said we can't afford it. And that's that. Now, if you're over 75, you've got to pay it. Never understood it. I don't think it's fair. People have paid the licence fee all their lives. Those people in that group are the people that have paid more licence fees than anybody, and are the people who like broadcast TV more than anybody. But yeah, you still got to keep paying, even though you've paid it for years. I don't know. I don't know where Dennis Reid is going to go with this. I think he's exhausted everything in his fight. He tried to get a meeting with Tim Davie at the BBC. Tim let him down. I think he's the one in the cul-de-sac at the minute, sadly. And I do mean sadly. It's a long time. Just Stop Oil protesters who scaled UK bridge jailed for 5 years. Yeah, finally a decent jail sentence for him. And one of the guys who's been sentenced to it somehow was doing an interview after he got sentenced with LBC, and he's saying, oh, it is a long time. So Troland, which is one of them, was sentenced to 3 years in prison for what is purportedly the longest sentence for a peaceful climate protest in British history, while Decker was handed 2 years and 7 months. I wasn't expecting it to be that long, but at the same time the situation for him is so serious that action is so urgent, and I'd rather be in prison for 2 years and 7 months than knowing about all the children and people dying around the world. What about the people who were in ambulances, who couldn't get to hospital because of your stupid protest that was pointless? What about those? All those poor people who missed hospital appointments. Don't really care about those people, do you? And it was a weird one, wasn't it? It was a weird protest because it was a couple of days that part of the M25 was shut down for. But on the day it happened, it would have caused more pollution than what it saved, because there was tens of thousands of cars sitting at idle, using more fuel than they would have used if you just let them go about their day. I don't know, it's nice to see a proper sentence for it. And I listened to an LBC phone-in after this news had broke the other day. And they were all in support of the protesters. Especially the presenter, I can't remember who it was the Drive Home show on Monday. And they were in support of the protesters. I am not in support of the protesters. And there's too many protests. It's a protest for everything. And it waters down the worth of the protest. The more protests there are, people are just fed up with it. People are fed up with it. They're not reaching the normal people. There are just too many protests. Let's go down here for a change. Oh yeah, I don't know, it's a protest for everything now, isn't there? Strictly judges back down amidst their pay rail with BBC bosses. Yeah, we talked about this one, was it last week? Last week we talked about it? Where she wanted more than her 500 grand a year to be Shirley Ballas. She wanted more than 500 grand a year. Well, no, not a year even, it was a series. 500 grand a series. It's a lot of money. Tough at the top, isn't it? And I know many people say, I did get a few comments about it, saying, well, it's not BBC's money anyway, it's BBC Studios, so it's none of our business, they're a private company, they can pay what they want. True, BBC Studios is a private company, and they can pay people whatever they want to pay them. But that show is made for the BBC, and it's paid for by TV licence fee payers, because they buy the show from BBC Studios. So her 500 grand a year might be being paid by BBC Studios, but the money for that comes from one place. Comes from your, hopefully not your, TV licence fees. I'm just going to put this down a sec because there's a lot of kids down here playing on this little beach bit. I don't want to get a minute. Hold on. I bet I've done all that for nothing and you can still see the kids behind me, can't you? But yeah, she did get a pay rise. What's it say here? They got an 11% pay rise. So, where are we? So Shirley was getting 500 grand. Craig Riverhall was getting 200 grand, and Anton is believed to be on 180. So yes, it's paid by BBC Studios, but that's near £1 million a season just for presenter salaries. It's a lot of money, isn't it? It's a lot of money. These are the BBC Radio Bristol presenters who are leaving. Yeah, the changes have started for local radio. The changes have started, and the people of Bristol aren't fully amused about the whole situation. Lots of change going on there, and it's going to get a lot worse. You alright? Who are you filming for?
BBC.
Oh, are you? Did you see that? What, BBC Local News?
Yeah, political programme.
Oh, nice. BBC Cameraman. That was quite funny. I should have had more of a chat with him, shouldn't I? Wonder if he recognised me. Didn't say nothing. But quite funny.
What was he filming?
It's for BBC Political News.
Has anything happened?
It's the first I've heard of it.
Okay.
Which is quite fun for me because I'm filming an anti-BBC video currently.
Are you? Oh, what? Who for?
Oh, it's YouTube.
Oh, you're a YouTuber?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a channel as well.
Have you? What's your channel?
Oski.
Oscar, I do politics and culture.
Do you? Let's have a look.
Yeah, I was totally with you on the defund the BBC. It's sad, really, because I wouldn't be ordinarily. I think it's a great institution, but it's completely lost its way.
That was interesting conversation there. I've edited it all out, obviously. But yeah, we're just talking about the BBC licence fee. I don't know, did you get the name of his channel? I'll put it on the screen. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, so there's lots of change coming up from Bristol at the moment in the radio, but they are really clamping down on the radio. And that's just another thing, isn't it? Because, you know, it's interesting. Because all the people I talk to about the BBC who defend the BBC, they have several reasons for defending the BBC. As I've said before, local radio, no one else can do local radio like the BBC. News coverage, no one else can do news coverage like the BBC. And arts stuff, no one else can do art stuff like the BBC. Well, okay, so no one can do radio like the BBC, but they're changing it. They're massively changing the radio, and it's not going to be anywhere near what you used to get. News coverage is changing massively, and they're cutting back on all the art stuff and the orchestra stuff. So where's your defence now? Where's the defence? Right, a couple of comments to go through. What we got? I don't think I got many today. Oh, I got this one. This was sent to me the other day. When I go through these, I was on BBC Media Centre website a couple of months back, and they were talking about a Coronation concert, and you can enter a draw to get tickets, and I got tickets because I thought my mum might fancy a bit of that. And it turns out she does. She couldn't be less interested. So that's me in Windsor being bored for the day with a mate. I don't think I'll go. What about YouTube? The site says if you stream live on YouTube, you need a license. Yeah, it's one of them weird grey areas that they don't like to fully tell you the truth about. So TV license website will tell you that if you watch anything live, you'll need a license. But if you watch me here, if I go live, which isn't going to happen anytime soon, but if I did, you could watch it. But if I was a TV channel, because you got Sky News and GB News is on here live, you can't watch them. You can't watch them without a license. But a normal person, you can. So if it's from a TV channel and it's being broadcast simultaneously on the telly, you can't watch that live. But everything else is fair game. Me can go on Twitch, watch live streams on there for some reason, if that's your cup of tea. Yeah, it's a grey area that they don't want to talk to you about, because they don't want you knowing everything you can and can't watch. Hi, is it possible to upload some of your videos to my channel, please? I did reply to them. They sent me an email as well. I'd rather not on that, if you don't mind, because I like to keep control of my face and my content and where it is. But like I said, I sent this person an email, and if you're interested in it as well, make your own content. Make your own content and reach your own audience. And I'll be happy to give you any help you need. Whatever help you need, I'm happy to help. But I'd rather keep my content in my own place. Sorry. I wouldn't be surprised if Defund the BBC employs Blue Sky strategy, because Defund the BBC is a limited company, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we talked about it with Defund the BBC, didn't we? That Rebecca Ryan, the boss of Defund the BBC, she's registered it as a company. And her other company is called Blue Sky Strategy Limited. And many of the comments that I had and a few of the emails I had said, I bet the money that come in from Defund the BBC was paid to Blue Sky Strategy as a consultancy fee or something like that. I can believe it. And the other thing I'd like to know as well, I haven't really looked into it, is that GoFundMe they've got, they haven't reached their target yet of £100,000. They're at 91 or something, aren't they? Do they get the money without reaching the target, or do they only get paid out when they reach 100,000? Is that how it works? If that is how it works, I might have to do something to try and promote not getting it to 100,000, possibly. I might look into that. Do you know? Let me know in the comments below. I don't think I've got any more comments. No more comments. So I wanted to try and bring you some videos from some other places, and I've really been a bit down a bit with this whole house purchase and the weather here and everything, because winters I used to have in Spain, didn't I? And I don't like where I'm living, and yeah, just down a bit. So I thought, Joe, I'm going to try and get away for the weekend. Either this weekend or next weekend, I'll go to Spain and have a little walk about out there and see some friends or whatever. I cannot believe the cost of flights. Like 200 and something quid each way. on Ryanair. Ryanair! You can buy a Ryanair plane for a couple of £100. I could not believe the cost of that. I really couldn't. And then by the time you chuck in a hotel and eating out every night for 4 or 5 days, which obviously you're going to do, you're going to be over £1,000. You're going to be over £1,000. So I thought, fuck that, £1,000? So it turns out, I kept looking about, right? I can have a week in Cuba, one of my favourite countries, in Veradero, all inclusive, for under £1,000. Or I can get not very good flights and go to Vegas for 5 days to not the best hotel, but a strip hotel where I spent my 21st birthday, Stratosphere Towers, something like that, for under £1,000. Well done. So I want to do something. And take you to some new places. Just need to have a little break. I think this whole house thing's getting me down. Nothing's happening. The mortgage money's now being refunded back to the mortgage company. Hopefully, they haven't confirmed I'm going to get an extension on the mortgage offer. So if there's no extension on a mortgage offer, it's all over, isn't it? And I'm lumbered with a conveyancing bill and no flat. And then have a look at this. Look. Yeah, the day I got told the news about I might have a conveyancing bill and no flat, someone reverses into my dream car. And to make matters worse, it's a bloody Audi. My least favourite car of them all. So yeah, I just wanted to get away for a bit, cheer myself up. I'll work something out. Have a bit of fun. Don't know, it won't be Vegas. It's insane. You might be able to go there for sub £1,000 for 5 days. You won't be spending sub £1,000. Brilliant. I fancy Cuba for a week though. Under £1,000. All inclusive. Dear me, practice some Spanish again. That'd be nice. I don't know. You got any ideas where I can go cheap for a long weekend, 5 days? Let me know in the comments. Right, back to work, because really busy at work at the minute. Really busy. It's a good thing. I want to see what that BBC cameraman was doing down there as well. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? If you pay your TV licence and you watch BBC stuff, if you come across that footage, let me know. And anyway, can have some lunch. Don't know what to have today. I'm sure I'll find something. So as always, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da!